Hey guys, it's Autumn here, and I am coming to you from the car because my daughter is asleep, and so I figured this would probably be a good time to do this while she's not awake and distracting. So I'm just going to talk about a little bit about what our dare of the day was for the Love Dare, and a little bit about what I read this morning in the Kingdom Woman. So today is day 3, and the dare is the title was Love is Not Selfish, and so that one was something that I really needed to hear, just because, or to read, because I myself, like everyone, struggle with being selfish, and that's something that I battle with, because I really kind of have like the opposite problem, where I feel like if I'm not giving all of my time and attention to my daughter, then I feel guilty, or like I'm not allowed, or I don't know, like I'm being a bad mom if I'm doing something for myself and not putting all my attention onto her. Even though I know, as a mom, especially a stay-at-home mom, you gotta have your me time, and you gotta do stuff and take care of yourself first, because if you can't take care of yourself, you're never gonna be able to take care of anyone else at the best of your ability. So, but as far as in my relationship with Ross, I know I'm selfish. I definitely put myself over him, or I have been, and I don't really always consider his needs, because I'm always focused on my own needs, and sometimes I even make him feel bad for not focusing on my needs, and that's something that I know I have to change. And after reading that this morning, I knew that was something that God was revealing to me to work on, because in that area I've definitely failed so far, because just over the last couple of months we've both sort of grown distant from each other, and I've stopped confiding in him and coming to him when I have problems, and instead finding someone else to listen to me and who's going to tell me what I want to hear, and that's really unhealthy behavior, and especially in a marriage. So learn from my mistake, and if you catch yourself doing that, just number one, you got to become aware. Self-awareness is a huge thing. You got to be aware of what you're doing, and in order for any relationship to get better, you have to look at yourself and look at what you're doing before you point fingers at what they're doing, because the truth is both people involved are at fault. There's some, it doesn't matter what the situation was that caused the big blow up. There were things leading up to that moment that little by little added up over time, and that's what causes these big blow up fights, or the divorces, or whatever. So you got to make sure you're communicating every day, and every single day before you go to bed, ask yourself, where can I improve myself tomorrow according to what I did today? What can I do tomorrow that's going to get me a little bit closer to where I need to be in order to be the kind of wife or husband or whatever in this relationship?
Beautiful Tuesday. I hope everybody's having a great day. And today I'm going to be going over a couple things. One from the Love Dare book that Autumn and I are reading, and then the second one is from The Kingdom Man by Tony Evans that I'm reading. So I'm going to go ahead and dive into it so I don't take too much time. But today was day 3 from the Love Dare, and the chapter, the topic is, or the challenge is, love is not selfish. Love is not selfish. And it says to ask yourself these questions, okay? Number 1, do I truly want what is best for my wife, okay, or your husband? Do I truly want what is best for my wife? Number 2 is, do I want them to feel loved by me? Number 3 is, do they believe that I have their best interest in mind? And then number 4 is, do they see me as looking out for myself first, or them first? Those really hit home with me, because when I ask myself those questions, if I look back over the past 3 years that Autumn and I have been together, I can't always say that I think that she felt that way, that that I was what I was doing was best for her, or that I had her best interest in mind at all times, and was I looking out for myself or for her? And as a young couple, as a young, when you first get into marriage, um, I think it's very hard, because your entire life you've really, you've had friends, you've had relationships, but at the end of the day, you're just a kid and you look out for yourself. But when you say those two words, I do, I think there comes responsibility with that to, now it's no longer what's in your best interest, it's what's in her best interest or your husband's best interest. So and then the last thing I'll say about the love there is choosing to love your mate will cause you to say no to what you want so you can say yes to what they need. I'm going to say that again. Choosing to love your mate will cause you to say no to what you want so you can say yes to what they need. I needed to hear that. I'll be honest. I needed to hear that, because, we have to say as men, or, if you're a lady watching this, as a woman, you have to know you're gonna have to say no to things that you really do want, so that your significant other, your spouse, your wife, your husband, can say yes to what they need. Okay, because that's far more important than what you want. So I'm gonna go ahead and dive into the next part of what I'm going to talk about today, and this is from The Kingdom Man by Tony Evans. If you're a guy out there, I highly suggest you get this book. This really, in just a short week, has already started to transform my life and change it. But I'm on chapter 4 right now, and the chapter is called The Power of One Real Man. And I'm not going to go way into detail. I'm just going to talk about the 2 lessons that he's talking about. Okay, so lesson number 1 is to stop making excuses. He says no more delaying what needs to be done because you don't feel like you're in a position to do it. Okay, for the guys out there, what I'm doing right now, I do not feel like I'm in the position to be doing this. I'm very new to all this, and it's very humbling. It's very scary at times. I'm fearful of it, but you know what? I know I need to do it, and I'm just doing it. And then it says, don't wait until you become a big shot to do big shot things. You have to start, just leave your excuses out the door and just make it happen, because you know it's far more important to your family than your excuses. I mean, excuses are just no good. And then lesson 2 is, you know, once you stop making excuses, advance one step at a time. So lesson 2 is advance one step at a time. And this is no different than you know, when you want to lose weight, you start with 1 pound at a time. If you want to write a book, you're going to write 1 chapter at a time. You want to win the Super Bowl, you're going to win 1 game at a time. You know, you don't do it all at once, and if you try to do it all at once, you're not going to get very far at all. And that's, you know, really, if you live your life like this, you're going to be amazed at what you can do. You know, he says, you know, think of everything as 1 step at a time, 1 day at a time, 1 project at a time, and you'll be amazed at where you'll wind up. And for me, with our relationship, I really didn't feel like there was any hope left at all, you know. But because I would always think of it like, okay, it's this bad now, how are we going to go from this to, you know, the couple we've always dreamed of being, the power couple, the parents, the inspirational people we've always wanted to be? Well, you know, we're doing it right now. You just take 1 day at a time, 1 step at a time. Every day is a new day to make progress. Okay, you're either moving forward or backward. There's no such thing as standing still. And for 3 years now, we've been moving backwards. You know, yes, we've taken a couple steps forward, but for the most part, we've been moving backwards. So now, to get to where we want to go, we have to take even more steps forward. And then I'm going to end with this quote. Actually, hold on. The other thing I want to talk about that he talks about, Tony Evans talks about, is saving money. You know, everybody wants to be a millionaire, And there's several ways to be a millionaire, and one of them is by saving money. You know, but if I look, okay, in 30, 40 years from now, you know, like that's a long time from now. But if I look at it like every day, every week, every month, I want to save this amount of money with compounding interest, I'm gonna get to where that point that we want to be at. You know, so as Americans, we have that option. Everybody has that option to take the steps to save money and invest money and have a good compounding interest rate. But you know, we all don't take it because we look long term instead of at our daily actions. And then I'm going to end it with this quote. Like I said, this quote says, "No one will force you to step up to your calling. It's your choice." No one will force you to step up to your calling. It's your choice. At the end of the day, Autumn could, you know, beat my head and you know, just try to push me over the breaking point of just giving in and doing something like this. Or we really never talked about doing something like this, but just anything. But at the end of the day, it's I have to make the choice. I'm not, you know, God, you know, if I'm not willing to listen to God's word, then nothing's ever going to change. For things to change, I have to change. And for things to get better, I have to get better. And I've been hearing that for about a year now from Mr. Jim Rohn, but I'm just now finally realizing that, you know what, like I do have to change. I do have to change for things to change. You know, I have to get better if things are going to get better. So I hope everybody has a great day. I'm fired up today. I mean, it's a great day, and I've been praying a lot, not only for our relationship and those in need, but especially what's been going on in Dallas. It's very sad. It saddens my heart. As Americans, we have to turn to God. We have to come together and be better. So I hope everybody has a great day. I love you, and we'll talk to you soon.